Good morning, everyone. The opening verse of this week's Torah portion says, "And these were the years of Sarah's life, 127 years. These are the years of Sarah's life." The opening verse describes the passing of Sarah at the age of 127. But Rashi asked the question, why does the verse say twice, "These are the years of Sarah's life, 127 years, these are the years of her life"? The opening of the verse already said these are the years of Sarah's life. Why repeat it at the end of the verse? And Rashi gives a very famous and classic answer. He gives three words. He said to teach us that kulan shavim letova, which means that all the years of her life were equally good. That all 127 years of her life were equally good. And the question is, how is that possible? Is there any person in the world that can say that all the years of their life are equally good? Everyone has peaks and valleys, highs and lows, good days and bad days. We have periods in our life that are full of great joy, and sometimes we go through challenges and struggles and pain. How could we say that all the years of Sarah's life were equally good? And especially, we know the lifespan story of Sarah. She didn't have a child till she was 90. She was abducted twice, once by Avimelech and once by Pharaoh. She had struggles with her husband's second wife, Hagar, and then with Ishmael, who had to be banished from the home. She had faced many challenges in her life. How could we say that all the days of her life were equally good? And a very famous and classic answer to this question is that the Rashi does not say that all the days of her life were equally happy. That's true. No one could say that all the days of their life are equally happy. However, it says they were equally good, because Sarah understood that everything that happens in life is good. It's all from Hashem. And even the challenges and the hardships and the struggles are also good, because they're sent to you for a reason, for a purpose. And it's all part of your life journey that you have to go through. And if you have that faith and that perspective, then you perceive all the days of your life equally good. And that was the greatness of Sarah, that she understood that all the years of her life were equally good. And that's true for all of our lives. Now, I've always learned that Rashi, and always understood it, that maybe if you're as great as Sarah, you could achieve that level. But I listened to a podcast yesterday that I recommend everyone listen to. It'll be a very worthwhile hour of your time. It's a podcast about a young woman whose name is Rivka Shotkin, and it's on a podcast called Meaningful People. Just Google Meaningful People, Rivka Shotkin. And it's a story about a 16-year-old girl who a year ago, she lives in Passaic, New Jersey. She's one of 11 children. And she's a religious girl, and she went skiing with her family. And she had never done a blue. So at the end of the day, she said, you know what, let me do the blue. And she went down the blue and she did great. But then she said, let me go one more time before the end of the day. And unfortunately, she was going very fast, and there was a turn on the path, and she didn't make the turn in time. And she went right into a tree. She was airlifted to a hospital, and unfortunately, her spinal cord was severed. And she's paralyzed from the waist down and is now confined to a wheelchair and will never be able to walk again. And this girl, who's now 16 years old, talks about being in the hospital and then in rehab for 3 months, and she couldn't even see her family because it was during COVID. But she has the most positive, optimistic view of life. And I'm going to give you 3 examples of highlights in this podcast. The first one was, she was saying that she's so grateful. And the interviewer said, what do you mean by that? And she said, I'm so grateful because I was this close, she said, to being paralyzed from my neck down, which means I wouldn't have use of my hands. Thank God I have my hands. Hands are really important, she said. And so she's grateful that it was just her legs and not her hand. And then she described how she was laying in the hospital bed and thinking, why did Hashem pick me? Why me, God? And she said to herself, is this a test or is this a punishment? And the interviewer said, so what did you conclude? And she said, I concluded that it's a gift. And the interviewer said, a gift? what do you mean by that? And she said, I have become such a better person as a result of this accident that I really feel it's a gift that God gave me. And if you listen to the whole hour, you'll see that she really means it. She's a happy person. She sees the positive in this tragedy that she went through, but she doesn't see it as a tragedy. She sees it as a gift that God gave her because it's all for the good, whatever comes from Hashem. And then, at one point, she was talking about overcoming the challenges of being paralyzed and having to learn how to do basic things like dress yourself and shower and do all the daily chores. And she said the following words. She says, you have to learn how to do everything in a wheelchair because, she said, the world is not designed for people like me. And Nachi Gordon, who's the interviewer, said to her, the world may not designed for people like you, but you were designed for the world. And that's the perspective of Sara. Whatever I go through in life is a gift. We should never know from such challenges. But we all have our challenges. We all have our moments. We all have our difficult periods. To understand that everything is a gift. They're all equally good because it comes from Hashem. They're all meant to help us grow and become better human beings. And to be appreciative, like she said, that my hands are working. Look at the good that you do have and be grateful for those good blessings in your life. And realize that the world, you were designed for the world. You're here for a purpose, for a mission, to make every moment meaningful. Have a wonderful day.